Even scientific studies have a bias. You got your facts, I got weight. But why if maybe a little crazy? Studying language AZ and everything between. English colonized lives, I won't settle for your dreams. Shuttle on the scene, I'm flying, I'm unidentified. Trying to give me titles, I flip the script like a Gemini. Align with the stars, yes, really I am a stronger being than Iron Man. Never mind the world, I got the iron hand. Never mind the money, you should see my palm. I could touch the world, atomic bomb style. You know life goes on, child. We've only been here for a long while. Starving and I'm walking down a long aisle. Everybody looking at me like I'm on trial. All cause my skin tone sound like wow. Sound like wow. It just sound like wow.
Cause what I know now, it's no wonder why these haters try to profile.
Sound like wow. It just sound like wow.
Wisdom of the womb in your ear right now, now. It just sound like wow.
Unk on my chest, a symbol of my success. I travel through time and mind, give this body a rest. I'll shoddy the sheriff, no need to body the rest. Shells alter his chest, I'm just revolving the stress. Since we all plagued, I drop pearls of age. No equivalent wage, words stick to the pages of the sages. Written for some everyday kids. We grow old, you know they say we don't stay big. Tables turn, what's your response to how they live? It's getting late, we running out of time. Why I call it mankind if anybody gets left behind? Shout out to my mother, she's a great gift I find. All this greatness in line, sacred paradigm spinning in my mind. And it just sound like wow. It just sound like wow.
Cause what I know now, it's no wonder why these haters try to profile.
Sound like wow. It just sound like wow.
Wisdom of the womb in your ear right now, now. It just sound like wow.
So walk 20 some grams from my sock. All I ask is please listen when I talk. I just hope to shift the coast when I drop. All I know is that the limit isn't my stop. On this road, how much collisions will I cops? Always on the mind, and if you're holding it down, pop, it can't hurt to ask right. The better man is never supposed to play the ass right. I could be the worst, I was pondering it last night. By a palm through an owl in a tree. A bit about me, not sure about what you see. I'm a real mother's son, not sure about what you be. Whatever will, I guess. On my worst day, I may reveal my best. So you can sell your soul, I will still invest to uplift the rest who are still oppressed. Sound like wow. It just sound like wow.
Cause what I know now, it's no wonder why these haters try to profile.
Sound like wow. It just sound like wow.
Wisdom of the womb in your ear right now, now. It just sound like wow.
Islam, Moors, Islam. What up? We're here once again. Freestyle day, because as usual, people talking bonkers. People talking so bonkers that we realize, even at the weekend, the lecture, realize the problem is really our people. The real problem is our own. And the Negro problem, which is what it is going to be solved the only way that it can be. And that is through what Moors are doing that adhere to the principles brought to them by their prophet Noble Drew Ali. So Islam to all the Moors, all the active Moors, the Moors who continue to study. It's good to, you know, try stuff but 100 years behind. And we can't put any more carts in front of this horse. We have 100 years of carts in front of the horse. Because people took what Noble Drew Ali brought and didn't tell people. And then now people are finding out, getting excited, and think you're just going to go out there and, you know, well, because Supreme Court case said these guys are going to, oh, no. These guys are inquisitionists, mercenaries, colonists. You know, they're probably not even, you know, masked up because they're not even from here. You know, some other levels. So people didn't do what they're supposed to do. People are getting antsy because they're studying so much and they're finding out so much, and they're so bad they want to try to do something. Try to do nothing. There's people out here. People out here are not gonna really just yield because you know you found out some stuff. So chill, right? Chill. If you don't know, go listen to some EPMD. Chill. Then maybe you might get it. Because it's all about the mind right now. It's all about making sure that your mind is functioning at a capacity where, you know, you just might one day go to bed and pull the blanket and see sparks. Not really know. Well, I'm not wearing socks or anything like that. Like, where's this energy coming from? You know, things that are happening make you know that it's about where's your mind at. It's not about how much stuff you got in the bank account, how much credit you got. You got unlimited credit account and all that stuff. You filed papers, whoever, and you know what I mean, they made you sovereign and all that stuff. That you got your own plates and you can discharge debts and you got a card that can make you. It's not about none of that. Coming into this is about making sure that you study and then study again. And then when you think you're a tough guy and you know everything because you studied so much and you did, you know what I mean, 150,000 hours at the library, you know what I mean, books stacked up, you know what I mean, you put in your work and you know for a fact what your Moorish nationality and birthrights is about, don't do nothing yet. Turn right back around, now start studying self. And then give self the study. And then after you go through that, then see you're ready to do something. And if you're sincere, you know what I mean, you're not even going to have to try to do something. Because you would stop being and just be. When you be, They have no issues. When you're being, you might be able to be manipulated. You might be able to be swayed. And why are people swayed? Because they don't study. They say they study, but when you really check, they don't study. They just read stuff. There's been a lot of, we don't stay quiet with certain things. So a lot of people been going hard at Moors who have been, expressing themselves because they realize there's some BS going on. Right? And Moors, get information and start talking up or whatever. And every time active Moors checkmate these guys, they want to set up the board again, play again. They get checkmate again, and then they want to set up the board and play again. So we already know that the intercourse, verbal, that you see is for the people in, Panama and those stuff. The people who, more just call me today or message me. I got email from somebody that said you can help me with whatever. All right, bam, 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 bam. Here to try to. This is about studying. This is not about get off your stuff and then try to pretend like you have nothing to do with this. You better be going full ahead or just stay nigger right now and deal with your nigger issues that you got yourself into. Because people aren't playing when you start talking about your Moor and stuff like that. They don't play when you start talking like that. Right? So people getting hyped, talking crazy. And when we address people's folly, it has nothing to do with the people who are talking folly. Please overstand and understand that. We don't care about them. We realize that there's a misconcept from an individual. If they're sincere, when we correct them, they'll straighten up, shut the hell up, just like how the ones do. You already know, how it goes. Certain people talking hype, and all of a sudden, we do certain shows and then they stop talking. Because they already know that they can't waver. Studious, active, civic-minded Moors. You don't get wavered. We already been through the flames, came out the other side unscathed. So we're not in doubt. We're stressing the points that people are continuing to play games with people's birthright. People let them play games with their birthright. Right? And then again, come and put another cart in front of the horse. Not realize that something's already been laid out. If you don't want to follow what's been laid out already, 100 years this thing's been laid out, and you want to go with that. You want to make up some new stuff or do some stuff from the 60s or do some stuff from the 30s or do some stuff from the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or 20,000 BC, do some stuff. But you don't want to do this 100-year stuff, then you're probably about some folly. So, first point that we need to address, and again, we're going to go to the scholars, right? The Moorish scholars, because we don't deal with these fake guys out here with their temple degrees and stuff spelled wrong and stuff like that on their degree, and people still repping them like they're credible. Othello's Children in the New World, Jose Pimienta Bay. If you don't know, you better find out. Othello's Children in the New World. But you like talk all this, you know what I mean? As soon as we bring up that we're Moabites or whatever, we're talking about incest and stuff like that. They have some fascination with incest. Why are you fascinated with incest? Like, what's the fascination? They'll have severe psychological problems if Moors say Moabites, and first thing that comes to your mind is incest. You have serious psychological problems. And we understand that it's your slave trauma. We know that. And we know because of the slave trauma, that's going to keep you ignorant to accepting the facts that get presented, you know, by Moors who, again, we study, so we got books and we deal with scholars. We don't deal with guys on the street corner and quoting them. They're nobody if they never wrote anything to prove their claims. If they're from this get in front of a camera generation, they're not scholar. Right? They're not scholar. They're just some guys trying to get some game on, trying to be somebody. Right? Chapter 2. The Moorish background, ethnic origins, and an overview of their historical impact. The Moorish, who are the ancient Moabites, Moorish Quran. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan, Moorish Quran. Old Man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan, Moorish Quran. The Moabites received permission from the pharaohs with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes, Moorish Quran. What is the modern name for Moabites? Moroccans, Quran questions. What is the shade of their Asiatic skin? Olive. Are the Moorish Americans any relation? Yes, we all have the same father and mother. Quran questions 61 to 63 and number 31. The above quotes are all from official Moorish Science Temple of America, MSTA, literature. It indicates the origins and links which the organization's founder and prophet, Drew Ali, attributed to the Moors. You all who say you're Moorish American and you follow Noble Drew Ali and you follow the prophet and, you know, his teachings and all that stuff. And for the people who think that this is something that has nothing to do with them and they're not Moors, they're everything but Moors, but they look just like me and got locks and wear ankhs but they're not Moors. But they're everything else, but they're not Moors. This is also for you people. They say you're black and it doesn't matter what you call yourself and all that stuff. All you guys, all you people, this is also for you, right? And it says Moors, talking to you, those who think that they're not Moors. Whatever mind reason that they come up with that they're not Moors. Although it shows that for Moorish scientists, Moors were understood to have genealogical links to ancient people outside of Africa, it is also understood that such people were still phenotypically Africoid. Yet many Eurocentric Western scholarly treatments have attempted to de-Africanize the Moors, quote unquote, and de-emphasize their connections to Africa. So the concept that people have that Moors don't want anything to do with Africa, right, is a misconcept on their part. because it's Eurocentric, Western, scholarly treatments that de-Africanized Moors so that people who don't consider themselves Moors would think that Moors aren't them, but some other people. Remember, it's all where's your mind at? Like I was telling the sister earlier, don't meet them where they are. Where they are is darkness. How are you going to meet somebody in darkness? If it's dark, like pitch black, you're not going to meet anybody there. And keep in mind, you're the only one that has higher to be able to, use your x-ray vision and see in the night and all that stuff with no glasses and all that. You know yourself. They don't. How about bring them into your light so they can see? Opposed to going into their darkness, trying to convince them in darkness of something that they can't even perceive because they're in darkness. So we bring them to the light, then show them stuff. Right? The Eurocentric Western scholarly treatments have attempted to de-Africanize the Moors and de-emphasize their connections to Africa. But after a critical interdisciplinary evaluation of the Moorish identity, it is evident that the term Moor justifiably designates a phenotypically Africoid people or person with ancient links to both East Africa and Near Asia. Like a voice in the wilderness, the MST was contending such truth in the early 1910s and 20s within African American communities. Admittedly, such ancient Asian links to Moorish ancestry and the historic mobility of East African peoples has contributed to existing arguments which have sought to deny the Africanity of those known to history as Moors. So these are all the people who want to go debate and then they want to say Moors are Arabs and Moors are pale, this and that and whatever. They have a Eurocentric mindset. They've adopted, and it's not even a Eurocentric mindset, it's a psychology of Europeans that they adopted as a mindset. They didn't adopt a European mindset. They adopted a psychology that Europeans created in order to steal the birthright of Moors, and they accepted that as the reality of what Moors are. Now remember, they don't study from European scholars, so we have to ask ourselves, well, where did they get this information from? From their black scholars who fell for the same trick. Few told the truth about who the Moors are. Few of the so-called black scholar people. Few. Upon reviewing the history of the Near Asian lands, one finds that such places as Canaan and Moab were once extensions of what we now call the African continent. Where we're Canaanites and Moabites, don't forget. In fact, many historical, theological, and linguistic studies show ethnic connections between Moors and the ancient peoples of Canaan, Moab, Cush, Judea, and Kemet. So what is he making clear? That the bloodline the bloodline of Canaanites, Moabites, Cushites, Judean or Israelites, and Kemetan, ancient Egyptian Ankh-Hotep guys. All those people are connected to Moors. So if all those ancient people are connected to Moors, how could those people today claim that they're not Moors? They can claim that they're Canaanite, but they won't. They can claim that they're Moabite, but they won't. They'll claim that they're Cushite. They'll claim that they're Israelite. They'll claim that they're Kemetan, Tamarian, Nubian, ancient Egyptian, whatever. But they won't tie themselves to the Moors. When the scholar, PhD, Jose Pimenta Bay, and I quote, "In fact, many historical, theological, and linguistic studies," remember study. So you're going to study historically about ancient peoples, Canaan, Moab, Cush, Judea, Kemet. Theologically, about Canaan, Moab, Cush, Judea, Kemet. And then linguistically, about Canaan, Moab, Judea. Study. And then you're going to get somewhere. But if you just look at historical, but not theological, and not linguistic, or just linguistic and not historical and theological, then you're not studying. Like Noble Jwali told you, you're doing your own thing. When you do your own thing, you get yourself caught up. It's real simple. It's real simple. In fact, many historical, theological, and linguistic studies show ethnic connections between Moors and the ancient peoples of Canaan, Moab, Cush, Judea, and Kemet. This agrees with MSTA official contentions. Consequently, the term Moor actually proves to be a term that etymologically reflects these ancient and significant links between Africa and Asia. The American Heritage Dictionary defines Moor as one of a Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent, now living chiefly in North Africa. One of the Saracens who invaded Spain in the 8th century AD, Middle English More from Old French, Latin Maurus, from Greek Mauros, probably of North African origin, big quotes. Moros, probably of North African origin, but that's Greek, but it's of North African origin though. For all the guys though, Europeans called you Moors. Well, that's of North African origin, not European origin. For all those guys, remember, we're dealing with scholars, so don't. It's not Cujo. It's Jose Pimenta Bay. It's not Cujo. Don't get mad, Canaanland, Moors and stuff like that, making videos. Cujo came out of here. No. Right? Jose Pimenta Bay is telling you that all y'all are Moors, whether you're Kemetic, whether you're Israelite, whether you're whatever you want to call yourself, you're Moors. Historically, theologically, and the Thorndike Barnhart Immediate Dictionary, THORNDIKE /BRNHART Intermediate Dictionary, also defined Moor as a Muslim people of mixed Arab and Berber ancestry living in northwestern Africa. Jose Pimenta Bay, Othello's Children in the New World, Moorish History and Identity in the African American Experience. Jose V. Pimenta Bay, PhD. So show support to the brother and go buy his book, please. Show support. Tell him Kudrow sent you. I was watching Kudrow's class. You know, his email's up there. Berea University. Scholar. Scholar. We also want to Islam to good brother Wasim for showing Moorish unity, making sure I got my metaphysical Bible dictionary so we could beat these guys in the head with it. And hopefully, unconscious Moors are going to see these people bludgeoned by active Moors with truth, that they'll just pick up the truth, because if truth is doing that, then you shouldn't be riding with truth. And then plus, you know, that's one of the principles too, right? So the haters like to diss. They love to diss. Ruth. Right? Listen to the hypocrisy. A Moabitess who became the wife of Boaz, an Israelitish man of Bethlehem, Judah. Now, if Boaz is an Israelite, and Ruth is a Moabite, and then they got married, wouldn't that mean that there's no separation between Moabites and Israelites? Wouldn't that mean that there was a union between these people that are quote unquote Jewish, and these people who are quote unquote Islamic? Because remember, they showed the unity as well in 1492 when they came out and told everybody, oh, the Jews and the Moors were the ones that were removed from. So how is it that these people who call themselves Israelite aren't tying themselves to Moors or to Moabites? They're going to talk all this incest stuff, but if Boaz is an Israelite, then what's the problem? Why are you dissing? Your boy Boaz, he married a Moabite, a Moabitess. Now, as scientists, more scientists, we're not mere believers like all these Bible thumper guys. We're not mere believers. That's why we have a metaphysical dictionary. So we can know the metaphysical meaning of the words being used when people try to talk slick in allegory and metaphors and stuff like that. Think that, oh, this is a nice poem. The words are so, spelling is spells. And if these people are talking metaphysics and you're just looking surface at what they're saying, done for. So, for all the naysayers dissing the matriarch Ruth, the Moabites, so no respect for the Moabites, talking crazy, right? Always playing this patriarchal balls thing. Always. When all these balls came out vaginas. So who they playing? They only playing stupid people who don't study. Or people who fence ride. Thinking that the folly is not going to affect them. All you fence riding people. If you're not on the side of the fence, you're going with the folly when folly is out of here. All the fence riders. So you better pick a side. Ruth. Metaphysical meaning of Ruth. And then keep in mind with what Noble Drew Ali presented to Moors in the 1920s. The love of the soul in its natural state, or the love of the natural soul for God and for the things of spirit. Ruth is a type of the beautiful, the pure, the loving characteristics of the natural man. Sympathetic companion, friendship, female friend, delightful, desirable, beautiful. She was the one and only good that Naomi took with her back to Bethlehem, Judah. Divine substance, the real. In Ruth's words, in Ruth 1:16, is represented human love raised to divine love by its willingness to leave the love of the unreal to follow after the real, to go wherever true love leads, to be steadfast in that love. In other words, to love in the highest and the best degree, to acknowledge and worship always the God of love. Ruth's loyalty to God and the spiritual life was rewarded, just as such loyalty always is. Boaz and Ruth were ancestors of King David and of David's greater son, Jesus the Christ. Here we have the progression of a thought from simple, loving obedience and devotion to a mighty ruler of worlds. Thus, spiritual thought grows very quietly and slowly at first, but gradually increasing until it finally carries all before it. So he knew what he was doing when he told Moors, learn to love instead of hate. He knew what he was doing when he told Moors, you're descendants of the ancient Moabites. Ruth is a Moabitess. You're not supposed to just go to Quran only, Bible only, Torah only, and that's it. When there's billions of books out there and all you have is just one book as a reference. So-called holy book. And then on top of that, not looking at it from a metaphysical perspective, always looking at it mundane and staying lost. And not receiving the higher divine messages that are sitting on the page, behind the lines. Another one we have to check, because all these haters again that want to do their little game plan. Noble told the Moors in chapter 1, the creation and fall of man, which in older Qurans, that's not chapter 1. That's no chapter. It's not even listed as a chapter. It's long enough to be a chapter, but okay. What wasn't taken out of the Aquarian gospel? Why he said prepared, because some of the stuff came from him opening himself up to the universe and receiving a message. He told the Moors, we're descendants of Moabites, Canaanites. This is our line. We're not looking at, rank in society and whatever like that. That ain't distinguishing anything. Right? But he gave us a reference point to go back to. So he told the Moors, without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the planes of manifest, of protoplast, mineral, of plant, of beast. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage. But he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Ye must suffer trials and temptations manifold. So remember, Drawley told Moors, everything I say is spirit, so Moors had better heed to what I say. So if he said that we're Canaanites, and everything he said is spirit, and Canaan, Canaanite, etc., can be found in quote-unquote a holy book, then you need the metaphysical dictionary. So you can understand, overstand, and understand the real meaning behind what is being said. Not the surface, behind the words, what's being said. And, active Moors know this already. They're on here, they're just on here to support. It ain't something I'm putting them on to something. Right? This is for people who are coming into this, who been linking me saying, I'm trying to learn some stuff about this or whatever. Right? Come on down to class every Tuesday, 7 p.m. So Canaan, metaphysical. Canaan means lowland. That is the body consciousness. The redeemed body is the promised land. And when man rediscovers his lost domain, all the promises of the scriptures will be fulfilled. It is not a dream that man is to possess an immortal body. It is a solid fact. In order to redeem the body, man must enter with his spiritual thoughts into his organism and teach it the saving truth. This is symbolic teaching of Joshua 1. We also think of Canaan, lowland, as referring to the subconscious. Metaphysically, it represents humbleness and receptivity. The land of Canaan too represents the unlimited elemental forces of being, in which man is placed, and to which he gives character through faith in God as omnipresent spirit. The mystics, it is the name of the invisible substance that surrounds the interpretants. To mystics, it is the name of the invisible substance that surrounds and interpenetrates all forms, of which it is the mother. Canaan, the son of Ham, refers to the fleshly organism and tendencies of man. It refers to the physical and not to the spiritual. Canaanite, one who exists in and for material things, a merchant, a pirate, trafficker in materiality. The elemental life forces in the subconsciousness. Under sense, thought, and expression, they are all that the meaning of Canaanite implies. The Canaanites are delivered by Joshua into the hands of the Israelites, and by them are destroyed. And the name of the place was called Hormah. Hormah is from the same root as Harem, a devoted thing. The significance of this is that through our I Am, Jehovah, we gain control of our subconscious elemental life forces. Then, by means of high spiritual thinking, Israelites, these life forces come under the law of spirit and are transmuted into spiritual energy. Going right back to Jose Pimenta Bay, making reference that these two so-called people are relative. There's a connection between them. And the connection exists whether it's accepted or not accepted. There's a connection. Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, Boaz and Ruth, there's a connection. All of them calling themselves El, but that's the name of the Canaanite God. Connection. So to play separate and separation is dysfunctional. But it's only dysfunctional to the ones separating. Keep in mind again, Ruth was the one that went. Right? Ruth was the thinker that got off the block. And with regard to Aquarian gospel, metaphysical for Levi. As Levi Dowling. So no Drawley plagiarized Levi. Okay, what's Levi metaphysically? That's why you have a metaphysical dictionary. So you can look at Levi not as some European, not as the surface, but as the faculty of love in human consciousness. Love is the uniting, joining force of divine mind. When Leah, human soul, brought forth Levi, she said, "Now this time will my husband be joined unto me." We connect our forces with whatever we center our love on. If we love the things of sense, they become part of us, and we lose the ability to enter into the realms of spirit mind. This is why the Lord commanded Moses not to make any graven image of him. Graven images are made by mental pictures. The thought that God is a great king in a place called heaven makes just such a mental image in one's thought realms, and one grows to believe in and worship such an imagery being instead of the true God who is spirit. For all the God is a being. Rastafarians. For all the God is a man stuff. Christian guys. The thought that God is a great king in a place called heaven makes just such a mental image in one's thought realms, and one grows to believe in and worship such an imaginary being instead of the true God who is spirit. Jacob's blessing on Levi, which seems more of a curse than a blessing, reveals how the strong emotions and feelings of man, before coming under the dominion of divine love, are often exercised in very adverse and destructive ways. Levi, meaning joining or uniting, signifies in the body feeling, in the soul sympathy, in the spirit love. Therefore, when love is expressed through the body as feeling, apart from love's dominion, violence may result instead of kindness, and unselfishness, and an irresistible power for good. Moses' blessing on the tribe of Levi reveals a great unfoldment and lifting up of the love faculty in consciousness. In this stage, however, it is still of the intellect, and its true spiritual quality has not yet been realized, although a degree of perception of its perfection has been attained. So they're almost there. They're on the doorstep. All they have to do is realize that they have a nationality. Because trust that if you're in Morocco, you're a Moorish subject. But, if you don't want to live under the rule of the Moors, you can just go to Israel and be a pilgrim, be an immigrant over there. For Hebrew Israelites. Because you can't be in America talking about your Israelites. And then using AA 222141 congressional record numbers that were filed in the Library of Congress by a Moorish American, not a Hebrew Israelite. So you're going to use Moorish American stuff. You're going to use Great Seal, which that's Moorish American. That is not Great Seal. This doesn't have nothing to do with Israelites. This has to do with Moors. They don't call this Abraham's mountain or Moses' mountain. They call this Muhammad's mountain. Because I, Self-Allah Master, found it over here. Aboriginal indigenous culture found it over here. Which, even on that level, you're that before you're Israelites. Aboriginal and indigenous. You know, are you going go leech off Ashkenazis? Go leech off Ashkenazi's booty. Like how you eating another guy's booty? You guys are those guys? The booty eater guys? Because Israel is Ashkenazi's booty. And opposed to claim your subject status under Moroccan rule in North America, you want to go get permission for some Israelis to be citizens of some BS? And then want to know how come nobody respects niggers? Because they sell out their self, they sell out their own stuff, they sell out other people. How you guys going there and contracting with Israeli government, which is the colonizers, in order to get whatever? Sellouts. Lots of them around here. Always trying to play their people. Always. Never fails. Moorish World History, Virginia edition. Don't forget, we put it out there for all the Moors, wherever you're at. You know what I mean? You should make a Moorish World History, whatever edition. Right? Don't forget, you can go to khalifamedia.com and get the Canaanland Moorish World History Edition. Welcome to Canada. We got the Virginia edition. Page 221. Indians were classed as colored people, another mark placed upon the Moors of Northwest by European nations. We must have the history of our forefathers taught to our children. Virginia in ancient days was called ancient Lebanon, also called ancient Byblos and Jaffa, which is considered to be the oldest inhabited city in the world. Joshua 1:3-4. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you, as I said to Moses. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your territory. This Lebanon is referring to Virginia across the great river. Another name for the Euphrates of the west, Mississippi River towards going down of the sun in the state of California. That's where the sun sets and rises again in the meridian of Taurus located in Japan. So to give a location of this verse, it would be North America. This Lebanon signifies that there were more than one Lebanon. The word "this" is used to identify a specific place. Lebanon is home of the Canaanite Phoenicians and their kingdom, a maritime culture that flourished for over 1,000 years. The land of Virginia was originally inhabited by Canaanites known as Phoenician Moors. The Phoenician Moors were seafarers. It was these Moors that the prophet spoke of that fed the world. They were masters of trade, commerce, and navigation. Each of the coastal cities were independent kingdoms, and they traded with surrounding kingdoms across the great Atlantic. The trade industry in ancient Virginia included cedar, olive oil, and wine, while importing gold and other products from the Nile Valley. Lebanon became incorporated into the Egyptian Empire. Of the cedar tree, one should review the cedar of Lebanon. The Moors would not allow the European man to cut them down. He would cut them down to make ships out of them, and the Moors would treat them mean. This is why they are so mean to us today. The wicked son is a reproach to his father. We taught them to be mean, and return, that is why they are so mean to us. We had them in slavery first, and in turn they enslaved us. This history will never be taught in the public. In later years, it would become known as Senecumkawa. Tsenacomawh. Tsenacomewh, which means densely inhabited land, by a sheik named Wahunsekawa. Wahunsecawh. Wahunsecawh. His name is commonly known in history books as Chief Powhatan. Powhatan. Powhatan was not his name. It was the name of the kingdom he controlled. Here is a prime definition of a free national standard being expressed in history. Later you will discover in this work how the European learned this art and why things are named what they are today. Sheik was called Powhatan by the colonists because they couldn't pronounce his name Wahunsecawh. The kingdom of Powhatan was established as a minor empire or mini-dominion which encompassed all of the tidewater and parts of the eastern shore. This is why Virginia is known as Old Dominion. The Powhatan Moors were part of a powerful sheikdom of Senecumkaw, which was originally under a matriarchal ruler, meaning that it was under the rule of a queen mother. The sheik became the first male ruler, and he inherited the title of Sultan of Powhatan, Sooltan. Sultan. Remember when you read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, stuff like that, and they say Sultan was doing his stuff and stuff like that? Remember, if you go back in the archives, Brother Casanova Bay, on his YouTube page, has a video where he was going through one of his history books, and the book was saying that the Sultan from over there was recognized as an American. And then you have the title for the male ruler of Powhatan was Sultan, Sooltan, right? Again, connection, showing the quote-unquote unification, which is why Noble Drew Ali's stuff came with the statement, the uniting of Asia. Because really, that's what all this is about. Getting these people high concentrations of melanin who have been misclassified as Negro, black, colored, and all the stuff that they decided to make up, all the historical interludes that they want to make up for themselves. All these people are Moors. Why? Because that's the last name. Because check the record. By the time it was Spain, y'all weren't even called Israelites no more. You were called Jews. The ones that were in Spain. Why are you called Jews? Because you were Judean. That's why you were called Jews. Jews was a short form for your state, your dominion, Judea. So you're really Judean. They don't want to say that because that gives away too much, so they short form you and call you Jews. Who are really these so-called people that they say are the Israelites that crossed the river and all that stuff. The real last stronghold was North America. The real last stronghold. Go read the Christopher Columbus letters to Ferdinand and Isabella and them, and him breaking down that, hey, there's stuff over there. Like, there's stuff over there. Come on, just send me. I'll find something. They already knew, you know what I mean? They already tortured these guys, these Moors. Got everything that they needed to get out of them. Got everything they needed to get out of them. And then they hit the flat earth where they didn't fall off the edge. Right? Once you're in Morocco, you are a Moorish subject. Once you're in Morocco, right? Once you're in Morocco, you're a subject. You're under the jurisdiction of the Moroccans, whose their name today is Moors. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't be Christian. Go right ahead. Nationality is Moor though. Oh, you want to be black Jew? Hebrew and Torah and all that stuff? Well, no problem. You can do that. Nationality is Moorish American though. You can play Israelite all you want. You can play Kemetic all you want. You can play it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We're just going to be black because, you know, the universe is black. And do your thing. But you notice that it's kind of strange that all these people who don't want to be Moors and be everything else are really just not wanting to accept the fact What is causing them to not want to accept the fact? Like, how serious is this mental slavery Noble Drew talked about? Like, these people are under serious mental slavery. If they're going to be everything else, but not Moors. Half the stuff they bring up to ask about Moors, they don't ask anybody for, regardless of what they're doing. Could be whatever. Right? It could be whatever. Whatever it is that they decide to do. If they decide to go to a store, they're not going to the manager or whatever. When's the store founded? How long has the store been here? You're not giving them no third degree like they give Moors. When we tell them that they're Moors. Everybody else gets a pass. So realize that it's not that we're about disrespecting nothing, or, you know what I mean, people's whatever. But you have to come to some realization, you know what I mean, like that, you know, you're wrong. All you are wrong. You know. Like there's no history that is most practical. Like the most like you be whatever culture on the continent. Pick one, make that your nationality. If you don't want to be Moorish American, indigenous, because you come from Africa, and all right, well, pick one of them ones. Just have a nationality so we could unify. Because if you're stateless, you're wasting time. If you're gonna go to Liberia to go be citizen of that, and then go to Israel to be citizen, you know what I mean? Then go there. Don't be over here talking about across the world. We're here. We're over here. Right? To the point. This is why Noble Drew told the Moors, it is most earnestly hoped, all the unconscious Moors, it is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. Back to Africa is not important. Right? If we go back to Africa, we will be colonizing Africa. Why? Because we're foreigners from there. Foreigners. We're over here. We have an empire to take care of. Let's playing around. We want to build stuff over there. Like, they got gold mines and stuff like that over there. What are you building up over there for them? You know what I mean? It's that theme. The home front ain't even looking out. Right? And that's from Moorish literature. You can get that from Moorish Science Temple of America. Right. Notice no ink on there. I'm just saying. The Moorish literature. MSTA9.com. MSTA9.com. So there's a couple of questions. I think some of the stuff might have been addressed, but we'll see what else is in there. Something else I was So we have one testimonial, a couple questions, and a couple links. So you can take down a couple of these links. 9/11 breakthrough, energy technology, Dr. Judy Wood. Dr. Judy Wood, G-U-D-Y-W-O-O-D. Dr. Judy Wood, 911 breakthrough, energy technology. 100% proof holographic plane, 9/11/01. 100% proof holographic plane, 9/11/01. And 9/11 hologram plane theory, Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper. 9/11 hologram plane theory. So first one, testimonial. Oh yeah. Yeah. Put this one on the record. First of all praises due to the great God, all universal law, and giving supreme honors to his, her true and holy divine prophet Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us slow but surely out of darkness into the marvelous light of our nationality and birthright divine creed. Testimonial. I have finally left the madhouse on May 19th, 2016. Islam, Canaanland Moors, as well as conscious and unconscious, self-proclaimed and nationalized and constitutional, cognizant and competent, active or inactive Moors from northwest hemisphere of the planet, Al-Maghrib Al-Aqsa, Northwest Amexem, Northwest Africa, North America, plus worldwide as well. Deep gratitude and honors to you and yours, dear Asiatic family. Deep gratitude and honors to you and yours, dear Asiatic family. Brother Albacet Salam Aral Mikhail L. saying goodbye to the mental health care facility, aka the madhouse, and removing the name from the previous mailing location. However, the nationalization process is still elaborated. Peace and love forevermore. Islam. This was a letter that Brother Anthony Shankle Bay found online. I'm Anthony Shankle Bay of Northwest Amexem. I came across this document while researching notice sent without signatures for fraud. Thought this would be something to analyze either for a class, or this is a modern European attempt to counter racketeering done by the IRS Inquisition. Should proclaimed Moors use this to stop threat of garnishment of wages from the state, California, or an employer? I don't think so. However, I know of a case where the default notice is ignored. I'm aware of Clearfield Doctrine proof of contract. This looks suspicious because it's sending to the same 7 locations as our proclamation and judicial notice. Now, once you get to when you get to dealing with quote-unquote finance situations, when they start getting to the part of garnish and all that stuff, you're already in the water, sharks swimming around you. Like, if it got there, you didn't do something right along the way of what you were doing. Or they're really the mercenaries and inquisitionists as they claim to be, and they're exercising what they're going to exercise. Now, another thing with regard to quote-unquote garnishee orders, because they could only garnish if there's a check with social, right? It's the only way they can garnish. Because remember that the employer's in cahoots with the tax people, who are in cahoots with whoever else that's doing financial things. And by now, especially Moors should realize that everything is about finance, so-called finance. Everything is about how much fiat could you get, right? And based on this writ not having any seals on it at the top, not having flags, not having anything, just a template, I would triple check everything that's on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about, hey, this sounded good on the first read and then you just deal with it or whatever. But we'll see some of what this is saying, just to put some of this out there. So now keep in mind that this is a notice sent by somebody, and it is a template of a letter, you know, same concept, you know what I mean? Have the stuff in red or whatever, where you have to fill in, and, you know, everything else is black. So it's pretty much a template, right? And it's dealing with this whole IRS fraud and, you know, their illegitimacy or whatever. So the free book that they list on the writ is Great IRS Hoax, Why We Don't Owe Income Tax. Great IRS Hoax, Why We Don't Owe Income Tax. So certain things that certain things that are presented, well, not certain things, certain entities that are presented, we know, based on their lack of constitutional delegation, they're probably running some racket, more than likely. You know what I mean? If they're not sanctioned by Constitution, then it's a racket going on, right? How is it that you get them on the racket? You know, again, one of the things, like Grand Sheik Nature always teaches is stop contracting with them. If you don't want to deal with the BS that you're going to have to deal with, then don't contract with them. And that'll eliminate you having to deal with them. Considering the majority of us are contracted with them. Right? Now there are ones that, you know, even though you're contracted, you know, depending on the contract, you rescind it. Rescind the contract with the writ. Standing on your status. No different than you would do, you know, a driving instrument. You know, like that's not anything to do with you. So, not want it, make a copy so you have it for your record. You know what I mean? You void it and you return it to its rightful owner. You know what I mean? If you already have another way of dealing with, you know, don't send that away because Cujo said, and then now you have nothing and glass getting busted open and you're talking about Cujo said to rescind this. Right? But being that we're dealing with occupiers, they're going to make it hard. They're not going to make it easy. So prepare for it to be a battle when you deal with these people. But regardless of whatever it is that you're dealing with, prepare for a battle. Right? It's not just going to be, you know, I mean, it could be, you know what I mean? Depending on what energy you're putting out there, you know, the stuff could shut them down. And they'll let you know that it's shut down, sorry for bothering you, and you know what I mean? They'll let you know. Right? So again, this is dealing with when you go online and you're researching and things come up that appear to be writs that have been sent out. Triple check. Don't be looking at oh wow, this says that, and then you're just going to implement stuff. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that you check. Right? Don't take it for this sounds good or this reads good or whatever, so use it. Right? And then again, there should be a template that's already established. So you find just blank stuff, no watermark, no letterhead, no nothing, just stuff out there, that might not be from a source that's trustworthy. I'll be extremely skeptical of even going on sites that, you know what I mean, like they would mention. Right? Because, you know, if you're talking about, you know, even if we use IRS, right? You're talking about IRS. You know, Constitution shuts them down. Like, you don't need no 8 pages of whatever. Constitution shuts them down. Where are they in that? If they're not in that, then clearly they don't have the power to collect taxes. Like, that's just what it is. It's not, you know what I mean? When you start getting into the long-winded stuff, you're straying away from the point. And again, Noble Drew Ali made the point. Enforce the Constitution for the United States of America Republic. Enforce the Constitution. That's the guideline for anybody that you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be Supreme Court cases and all that stuff. The Constitution. If they're not in that, If their entity is not mentioned in the Constitution, they're probably running a racket. More than likely, they're trying to get in your pockets. Right? And again, the Grand Sheik nature lesson, well, you shouldn't have contracted with them. Because, you know, the alluring pull that you got from the contract before you had knowledge or whatever, you know, was really a fraud that you fell for. You bit the bait. You thought that that was a little worm or whatever just floating, and you bit down on it. Now you're getting pulled up. Right? You know, there's no jumping off hooks. So, all rights reserved anytime you contract with these people. So you can always demand them to bring up the contract when there's controversy. If you don't reserve your rights on that contract, then they can probably hold you to it if you don't know what you're talking about. You know, because I've not known what I'm talking about and got held to contracts. So it's important to know what you're talking about. Because by knowing what you're talking about, one, it proves that you're studying, right? And two, in your exercising what you studied, you will get a response that will alleviate your situation. So, like Brother Tallahassee today, called me today. Goes to a store, right? Pick up some stuff, you know what I mean? Puts on nationality card, Asiatic at the counter, right? Well, you know, no fares, no nothing or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Just went to the store, go get some stuff. But you know, I'm Moorish American, I'm indigenous to this land, you know what I mean? Well, you know, I don't know, this one is, let me get the manager. What's the manager? European. Comes over. You should have just listened to him. Doop, 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 psh, doop. Here you go, sir. Thank you very much. Asiatic sitting there now, like, gone. Like, gone. She couldn't even, it wasn't even registering as something that's familiar to her. Like, nothing was registering. Like, she was just blank. People in front of her, and she was just blank. Stuff in front of her, she was blank. Nothing going on. Knock, knock, nobody's answering. Right? Once you know, you get favorable reply. When you don't know, then you're gonna get the right. So be a little weary of these online stuff. That's why we have Moorish Nation public records. Right? That's why we have Moorish Nation public records. So you're using something that's coming from your frequency. Because you can be on frequency and then you go out there, study something off of where you're supposed to be, and then try to implement that and throw your frequency way off. Throw your frequency way off. That who knows what you're gonna get when you send that out now. right? Because one thing I've realized with active Moor's writs is that when writs get sent, to whoever, you're either going to get a reply of them trying to recontract with you because you realize that you put them on game, so they're going to send you something having nothing to do with what you sent them in hopes that you deal with that now. Which then just made them slide back in. Right? Because it's about them not having jurisdiction. But if they send you something having to do nothing with what you sent them, then you answer to that, opposed to sticking to they never replied yet. Right? Or you get no reply. They didn't send anything back, but you'll know that those things were delivered. Somebody got them because you got your return receipt, so you know that something happened. You know that it was received, and it could be anything that you write. You write the school board because of something. You write the trustee because of something. You send in a form for whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's times with the passport form that they call back. And nothing that they do. What they call them back to verify eye color and hair color, height. And what's to verify? Like this is a renewal. Like all you're doing is just the same, right? So you realize how in your starting to get familiar with thinking a certain way and then putting those thoughts to paper, that when you send those papers out, there'll be times that you get responses. You know what I mean? That'll make you realize that, okay, I must be onto something if they're responding how they're responding. You know what I mean? You're dealing with something that's quote unquote in the straw, and then they're sending you back stuff in free national name and all that. Something's up. Because why would they address you in that to deal with, But then most of the times when they do that, it's to get you to open the stuff. And then once you open it, then it has that, AKA stuff on the letter and all that. And they try to also known as you. You know what I mean? So be open to, sending things and testing it out, because, practice makes perfect, and, studying is practice, but, you're only going to study or practice for so long until, it's time to put this in the game and see how, let's see if we could break an ankle today. Let's see if we could really stiff arm a guy, and really stiff arm a guy, because I've been practicing. So with this practice, study. Don't try to ease the way out. And again, if you find things online, just like the brother did, send it out to people. Because, again, the set and raw lesson. Eat the fish, spit out the bones. There might be some things in there that you can extract. You're not going to take the whole thing, but there might be some gems in there. Because remember, everybody who is quote unquote anti-U.S. corporations and, franchises or whatever, you know, they are living off the Moor's birthright. They are fighting with the Moor's birthright. You know, like somebody who has this IRS stuff and you know what I mean. When Europeans start speaking up, which they've been doing, and letting everybody know that they know that, you know, something's up or whatever, you know, like when all these 911 hoax stuff, and, you know, it's Europeans bringing this out, right? And then they're bringing it out on their own. Then you know that, you know, the uniting of Asia is on. Because the Asiatics, you know, are really the poor people. The Asiatics are really the people who have nothing to lose. You know, the guys at the top of the stuff, they got stuff to lose because they think it's all about material. You know, poor people have nothing to lose. People who know how to, you know what I mean, live. People who just know how to live. Food, clothes, shelter. Keep it simple. You know what I mean, nothing crazy. Don't get your Maserati outside and stuff like that, and you live in the hood. Life is great. Really rich. You look at, you know what I mean, our life compared to those people, Wall Street guys jumping out building because they lost a stock and stuff like that. Right? Dealing with the material. So take what you can take, get what you can get out of it. I wouldn't be using anything in its entirety that I find online that's not from one of my study sources. Like I just, you know what I mean, I don't know where their mind was when they wrote that or whatever, so I'm not even extracting from them. At least I know that with a Moorish American, that their paperwork, they know that if a Moorish American writing paperwork knows that, or writing writs, knows that words are spells. So there's going to be a frequency that I'm going to be vibrating on that frequency as soon as I start reading. When I look at this thing that I sent, automatically, no seals on the top, or automatically that threw my energy into, you know what I mean, grainy screen. Where I don't even want to even go through it, because it's off where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when I open a document that's a writ, I'm supposed to see a great seal at the top, or a Moroccan flag at the top, or, you know what I mean, something having to do with our government. You know what I mean? Something having to do with our nation, something having to do with our Aboriginal indigenous position. It's not going to be blank paper, right? And that's what the brother was getting at, even with the 7 locations. That the 7 locations are the same locations that you would see on a writ for your, or that you would see as the CC list for your judicial proclamation, name correction, right? You know, so feel free to extract, but mind what you use. Right, mind what you use. And if you want to read it or whatever, it's Notice of Fraud is the name of the PDF. Notice of Fraud. Some of this one we might have addressed already, but we'll see if there are any. Okay. What is a plagiarist? Why Noble Drew Ali does not fit the description? Drake is a plagiarist. Drake is a plagiarist because he takes people's lyrics and makes millions of dollars from them without giving credit to who he got the lyrics from. Like, I know people who know people personally that, you know, you do a little dangle stuff in front of them, you know what I mean, get them hype or whatever like that, have them come to his studio, you know what I mean, I'm gonna make a song with you and all that stuff, and take dude's lyrics and go make a song. And it go like platinum or something like that. It wasn't even his lyrics that he wrote. That's plagiarist. Noble Drew Ali doesn't fit that description at all. Because like we've asked these people, so are you people who say Noble Drew Ali plagiarized Levi Dowling, are you trying to tell me that a European can access the Akashic records and an Asiatic can't? Are you saying that a European can talk to some monks in Tibet and get some stuff, and that an Asiatic can't talk to some monks in Tibet and get some info? And keep in mind that when a so-called plagiarist is not going to tell you where the information comes from. Right? So a plagiarist is not going to say where the information comes from. Right? The genealogy of Isa, with 18 years of the events, life, works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for all those who love Isa and desire to know about his life, works, and teachings. Dear reader, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Isa. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones, that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons you can set your house in order, and your children will learn to love instead of hate. The lessons for this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am a prophet and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at an expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosed the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. So these secrets that's been held back by the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, not Israel, The Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, not Israel, were delivered these keys that were freed up, that at one time was held back. And they were delivered to the Muslims of America. Why were they delivered to the Muslims of America? Because the Muslims of America didn't have any access to information other than what colonizer told them. And half the time, because colonizer was telling them, they neglected it and didn't read. So they wouldn't even known about an Aquarian gospel, because Levi Dowling's before Noble Drew Ali. So this Europeans telling all these slave masters or whatever about the 18 years of Jesus' life, the real story of his life that is missing from this King James stuff that you guys have. And they take that and adopt that. No wonder they could turn around and give slaves the Bible and the religion and all that. Because they had the higher degrees. They didn't do this stupid book anymore. Give it to the Negroes. Let them have that. We'll read some Aquarian gospel and get the real lessons. But praise Allah, Prophet came and delivered those same keys to the Asiatics of America, and they deny it right now. And find every reason why they're not going to read the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But they'll read all their other books, says the holy whatever and all that. What's a Hebrew Israelite and what's a Jew, and is there a difference? Are they even nationalities? What is a Hebrew Israelite? A Hebrew Israelite is a Canaanite who doesn't want to be Canaanite. A Jew is the Ashkenazi who took the school of thought of the Canaanites and made it a religion, because they didn't have nothing, the Ashkenazis, right? They didn't have nothing. So because they had nothing, they had to make up stuff, right? Now when we talk about the Jews of Spain, the Jews of Al-Andalus, those weren't Ashkenazis. Those were melanated people. And those melanated people, during the time of the Moors ruling Spain for 711 AD, and then there were Jews there before Moors got there, and the Jews helped the Moors to conquer the stuff and all that stuff. They were Judean. And Jew is short for Judean. So the difference between Hebrew Israelite and a Jew is that a Hebrew Israelite is really a Canaanite who doesn't want to be a Canaanite. And a Jew is an Ashkenazi, which Jews are not European people. Right? Are they even nationalities? Jew is not a nationality. Judea is a nation. Judean is a group of people from Judea. But Judean is not a nationality, because if we go to the UN or to the Parkway in Philadelphia and there's no Judean flag there, then there's no such nationality called that today. They may have some little pocket somewhere that they say that they're the ancient whatever. You can make a claim, you know what I mean? Do what you do, but that's not recognized all over. No, you got The red flag with the green 5-point star, that's recognized all over. Right? And they also know that it's from over here, not over there, not North Africa, Morocco first. They know that that flag is over here first and then over there. Right? And remember, that flag is in the UN and it's on the Parkway, so it's recognized as a nationality by the nations of the world. Why does it seem to always be the Hebrew Israelites who are confrontable, who are comfortable lying about their identity to the masses? Well, it's not only them. It's not only them. It's all the melanated, dark-skinned, unconscious Moors that call themselves all this other stuff, and they're comfortable lying about their identity. It's not just them. You know, Farrakhan's lying to NOI about their nationality. Even though he's naturalized, he's still Moorish American. And he's telling them they're black. And he's telling them they're Moors in code, and they don't get the code. But you know, he has his birthright, so why is he worried? That's why they can't touch him. You think Ashkenazis didn't want to take him out yet? Either he's contracted with him, or because he's a national, they're not touching him. That's why he's still around. Why do the Moors continue to present the matriarchal system as opposed to patriarchy? As we said, everything goes back to mother. All penis and balls came out of vaginas. No vaginas came out of penises. Not one. So, penis has to humble himself. Because he came from somewhere. Matter of fact, penis was a vagina before he was a penis. Imagine that. Matriarch rules. We always rule. There's nothing that patriarch can do. Everybody who's patriarch services a woman. Everybody that's patriarch. All the patriarch guys, they talk BS or whatever, but when nighttime come, only one thing they want. When something's hurting, only one person they want to rub it. They're patriarch guys. Patriarch guys not gonna let their boy, rub their thigh when they got, spasms. Patriarch guy is gonna call his wife or whatever. They're gonna play, sit in the back in the bleachers and all that stuff, and you can't come up here and whatever, but when the dinner time comes around, guarantee he's eating. You're not talking about that patriarch stuff. You know what I mean? Shut the hell up. Quick. Or no dinner. So the patriarch could talk all they want to talk. But they're only fooling themselves. Because even the patriarchs service mother. They can play whatever they want to play. But we know that they service mother. That's just what it is. So don't forget, 9:30 p.m., Blog Talk Radio. (319-527-6751). 319-527-6751. blogtalkradio.com /MH/MHHS Eyes Wide Open. Tonight. You heard? Tonight. Also, if you haven't got it yet, willofallah.com. Get that Al Moroccan album, because Al Moroccan album's no joke. Triple disc. I mean, it's a good listen. You know what I'm saying? Very good listen. So make sure you show some support. I mean, show some support. You have to go nuts, but you know, show some support. Also, continue to study. rvbaypublications.com. That's your online university. Trust me, if you stay there for a year, you'll be straight after that year. Stay there for a year. Don't get distracted with these people and the crazy stuff. You know, the Hebrews and all this stuff, and Kemet, this and that. You already know all that stuff. You know what I mean? How about learn what you don't know? You already know what's up with all those stuff. Learn what you don't know. What you don't know, I guarantee what you don't know is your Moorish history. I guarantee what you don't know is law. And I guarantee what you don't know is metaphysics and astrology. So, go there. Oh, a good place to get a start on that information, rvbaypublications.com. Don't forget it. It'll help you out. Trust me, it'll help you out. Right? So we'll just close out. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all you Moors. We'll just close out with the prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace, Moors.
Meditate and I synchronize. Mind levitates and I synchronize. Tired of the lies and the blinking eyes. Synchronize. I'm in sync with everything that's around me. High off life, gravity couldn't ground me. Trying to open my eye, they won't allow me. Kick the ice bucket, won't let society drown me. On some higher learning, so you'll never down me. Knowledge is power, I evolve several times in an hour. Die and resurrect as your bezel gets. A little shift from the tick of another sec. Nigga, ain't you say that was a rollie? You phony, don't ever consider yourself my homie. I'd rather feel lonely, chrome hit my bony. Godfather hip-hop, Don Corleone. My mellow demeanor killing them slowly and softly. Ooh la la la. Tryna get the callous off me before they off me. Meditate and I synchronize. Mind levitates and I synchronize. Tired of the lies and the blinking eyes. I'd rather just synchronize. Meditate and I synchronize. Mind levitates and I synchronize. Tired of the lies and the blinking eyes. Rather just synchronize. Tune the radio, let's find a vibe. A pace and a frequency that's highly qualified. With degrees of spiritual perseverance. Losing the old religion, sorry if we hurt the parents. But we choose to honor those before. Explorers on the shore, guess we'll live forevermore. Had a sight like that. I was on tour and some women call me God after saying bonjour. I reply the same, then we all got lifted up into the climate change. I was happy to snowboard, cause I've been so bored hearing clones talk. I just sigh, but I'm no Borg. Get off my energy and get your own chord. Get your own chord. Original man of the jungle, I am no George. I am no George. Meditate and I synchronize. Mind levitates and I synchronize. Tired of the lies and the blinking eyes. I'd rather just synchronize. Meditate and I synchronize. Mind levitates and I synchronize. Tired of the lies and the blinking eyes. I'd rather just synchronize.
Call it synchronicity when we can be on that same frequency. Say that's when man's free. Cause I don't wanna be another lonely soul, just wandering without control. Take time before it takes its toll. So you don't wanna lose it, no. When while the sun still shine, I've surely got my eye connected with divine. It is the power of your mind. When the road get twist up and twine, follow nature laws and sign. She responds to the free. This is synchronicity.